Hello, everyone. It's Live at 5 Mondays with Cheryl Millett. All things healthy, because really, that's what you could learn. It's a perspective on how you look at anything. But how was your weekend? How are you doing? I mean, really, there are some crazy times, crazy things I'm hearing. I just actually was on a call to do with that online academy, and one of the faculty members said just in the last month she's had two children. I don't know if she has more children, but have tried to commit suicide. What that means exactly, I don't know. It's kind of an emotional thing to hear, but crazy times. So more than ever, keeping in touch with not only yourself and reaching out, but also keeping connected to your children. And if you're a child, connect with your parents. So I think this is going to be optimum at this time of crazy times. That this whole idea that I'm hearing, this is up and that is up, and suicide and isolation for people, and depression and all these crazy things, right? It's not something we want to put out there, but the fact of the matter is it's real, just based on this lovely lady, and she is in the holistic world and spiritually oriented, I would say, and she's part of the faculty. And here, she just in the last month, two children have tried to commit suicide. So they're probably in their 20s. I mean, this is not just for teenagers. This is not just for teenagers at all. I mean, quite often I've heard of people, uh, even in their 50s. I'm not going to call it a midlife crisis exactly, but at the end of the day, more than ever, if everybody here can connect to people they maybe have lost touch with, even, or just in those people that are in your family, and you may never know, but just strike up the conversation. Ask, how are you? Really, how are you? And pick up the phone more and more. So, I mean, if it's just one person a week, it's just kind of like a commitment to ourselves, to each other, and to kind of do that. Now, with Live at 5, typically we no, it is. We're going to go through something new, something different, and then I'm going to go and dive into some news, some current events, I guess you could say, or anything that's kind of come to me top of mind that may be relevant at this time, or relevant as to being, being human, being man, if you watch the last episode. And then at the end with a few jokes. I got a few good ones that end it with, because laughter is great medicine, and even if all you do is put a little smile on your face, you will find a huge difference. Just a smile will make you, even try it now. Just a smile. It immediately makes you feel better, or not be able to think the things that you might be thinking or focusing on, or it's going round and round in your head. So what's new? Well, I got a dehydrator for Christmas, and quite often I think about these things in many ways. Why do we need a dehydrator? It's a question I would ask. And dehydrators, or obviously they didn't have electricity back when. And if I recall my readings on, let's say, the Inuit people, the Eskimos up north, depending on where you are in the far north, they like to be called Eskimos, or they prefer to be called Inuit. Inuit. So they would lay out, with the salt water, salt being very drying, would dry it out. So they lay it out. They call it sun dried. We have, for convenience, these machines called dehydrators. So they have to be plugged in. They require electricity. Um, but why did I get it? Well, for the experience of it. It's probably the key thing. So I'm just going to show you what I made first. Is beet chips. So interestingly enough, I've got to learn to use my mandolin. I think that's what you call it, the slicer, because that in itself is tricky. I don't think they're all created equal, for sure, but so I got them some thick slices and some thin slices. So some of them are crunchy while others are not, and I guess I could have left it on for another hour. I don't think going too far is probably possible unless you go way too far. But yeah, they look pretty, and you can add them to the dinner plate. But I don't really want to use my dehydrator just out of prettiness. I really want to explore how to use a dehydrator for thriving. And my next project, when I can get some, would be something like a moose roast or deer. Probably moose roast is probably more what I'm going to get. Grass-fed beef or something, and make some jerky. But in reading the instructions, I'm very adamant in reading from front to back and cleaning the whole bit. What do you need to do first? And what I learned about the jerky was that it actually doesn't stay as long as you might think. Now, if you have a sealer, which would be absolutely something I would need to get, that would allow the food to stay fresher. So one where you take out the oxygen. I did have one a very, very, very long time ago, and it's very, very happy. So helpful. But that's what kind of came to mind. To do dehydrated food, you have to do it properly, obviously, because if you do it to a certain degree and then you don't get enough moisture out and you package it away in bags where you haven't taken the air out, this is where molds and certain things would come into play. They have so much information in the instructions, but I got to go and review more. But it was only 3 months for jerky if you are just keeping it, I guess, somewhat sealed, that kind of way. And so I found that interesting. But so that's it. It's the dehydrator. I mean, a lot of people love it for the reasons they love it. I've got to just hear about what more people say about it. And there's that. But so I'm very excited because the book club, the Awakening Book Club that I have spoken about on here, we have 10 people. 10 people are signed up. And usually the book clubs in the past, there were a handful of people, which in itself was always exciting to be there. But reading through the book myself again for whatever time, I can't remember, it's the fourth time, something like that. And about the Ringing Cedars series is 9 books. Anastasia is just the first one. And I want to kind of to read it doesn't matter if you're going to join or not. You're going to be hearing more about these books, or at some point you might hear about them. And they become so popular. The first English in translation from Russian to English was in 2005. But I was looking up a couple of weeks ago, looking up where to buy it, and I have a couple of websites, and I went on Amazon. It once upon a time was only like $12 to buy this book. Now it's like $15 US, but that's not it. You go on Amazon, and this book, this one here, is being sold for $40-50. One book now on Amazon. And I'm not sure if you can get it on the other sites. It looks like you have to buy it as a package, which is about $150 US. I think I paid closer to 120, 130 Canadian, but that would be about 10 years ago. So it become popular. So I wanted to read it. Just, somebody asked you, have you heard of the book Anastasia, The Ringing Cedars? You're going to have a little bit. This is just on the back cover. This series is 9 books, tells the story of a remarkable woman named Anastasia, discovered in 1995 by a Siberian trader, Vladimir Migre, while he was plying the waters of the remote Orb River. Anastasia was born in the forest in 1969 to parents who died tragically, and they go into in the book when she was just a baby. Living without warm clothes, food, cultivation, or man-made shelter, she has survived on fruit, nuts, berries, and mushrooms brought to her by wild animals, with which she lives in peaceful harmony. Migre initially spends 3 days with Anastasia, during which time she displays such astounding knowledge, power, and wisdom that he abandoned his business and at her request began writing the series. And he does he really on the onset just goes, not me, but anyway, this is the good thing about the book. She told him She would encode the books with energy that would cause them to sell in the millions. Despite the lack of writing experience, this is exactly what happened. This is exactly what happened. That's why I go into the pricing a little bit and thought I'll pull open, I don't know why, I just opened the back page. It is Anastasia's ability to strike a chord in the heart of the reader that makes these books so very unusual. The purity and power of her words is provoking an outpouring of joy and hope in the people from all walks of life. So this is this whole encounter with this one book, but I have to tell you that not only the outpouring of people sending in their messages of gratitude, but there's actually whole communities being created as a result of these books. And much of the, I want to say formula, but much of it is in these books about gardening, but about our true nature, inner power. It escalates, or let's say, yeah, that's probably the better way to say it. So when you read the book, book one is what it is, but then it just keeps compounding on that, keeps escalating in wisdom and knowledge. But that's that. So, I mean, I'm doing this on IAWESOME, the International Academy Universal Self-Mastery, where we're actually reading 1, 2, 3 chapters, depending on how long they are, with a group. And in fact, I just went on there today, where there was a couple of people last week. This week, there are 12 people and 10. But the one that's outside of IAWESOME is going to be a book a month. And by the end of the year, we will have read, everybody on there will have read the books. There's a little bit of accountability by doing a book club. I encourage that for everyone. I mean, depending on, you can figure out your likes or anything like this, but the Awakening Book Club is definitely in light of wisdom and knowledge that goes beyond your typical self-help book. That's probably what I'll say it that way. Yeah, common sense. Wow. This will get us right into kind of what's going on today. Now, when I say what's going on today, do we really know? The main messages about what's going on today is there's something going on. That's, that is the truth of it. And even if we want to take on the fact that the nefarious stuff that's going, or the unusual, surreal stuff that's going on, where the majority of people are wearing masks, and you have these ongoing lockdowns that don't make sense. You have science from both sides, so there's a definitely, when everybody says the same thing, it doesn't mean it's truth, but at least if everybody is on the same page, it's probably closer to the truth. Doesn't mean it is the truth, but it's probably closer to the truth. But in this case, we have definitely polarization. You just said, well, both ends of the spectrum. So what has really happened? Well, I don't really know, other than I know something's happening. And it's clear from certain words and certain messages and reading certain websites and hearing what people say that there is a disconnect from what people how people are seeing things. No question. I mean, this is press conferences. This is certain people that are in touch with what's going on at a different angle, more humanity like. And there's so many people now that have made it their mission, awesome, made it their purpose to come on, whether that's regularly every day, to bring people up to speed. This means we still have to use common sense. We can't, what's in front of us is what's in front of us, just like I spoke about earlier about connecting. What you're doing, your own passion and purpose here. So common sense says the balance and harmony is going to be everybody still finding the joy and finding a kernel of peace at every moment, and more moments, and raising our vibration, however that works. That could be laughing, that could be watching comedy, that could be spending time with each other, whatever turns your crank, as they say. So this is definitely key important, is to use common sense. Not just common sense from what we're hearing and what we're hoping for and what we would like to happen. I can hear the messages loud and clear from people, that expectations, and people saying, yes, I heard this stuff 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. When is it going to happen? And that can definitely be something that somebody's going through even just in the last 4 or 5 years, or for those people who are just becoming more aware in the last year, in the last month even. But the idea is to focus, continue to focus on what makes you happy, or what brings you joy, the fun things. And again, putting that smile, it's one little tool in your toolbox, is to smile. And anytime you smile, it will change how you're thinking about things, or what you choose to think about. It's going to be different from everybody. Whatever the smile gives you, just try that smile more and more, and smile and see how it kind of changes. You might be spending more time in the kitchen, like I hear some people doing. Explore, be adventurous in everything that's right there that you can touch. Right? Most of what people are coming on and talking about is informative. It's nice to be aware, but it's also to be right in the space where you're at with the people around you. And I mean, that's why I continue to do the chat walks. I realize, okay, this isn't going anywhere soon, as in tomorrow. So starting the chat walks was a way to give people some sanity. And of course, then the further lockdowns came in, and as stubborn as I am, I'm not stopping them. You know, when it comes to mental health and humanity, and the fact that, you know, I'm just going to do it anyway, then I'm just doing it anyway. So it doesn't bother me what anybody says. So of course I'll hear what people say. One thing I wanted to talk about, talking about getting your information from somewhere, is something we can also support, because if we had to be frank with ourselves, quite often we're speaking about the same thing to the same people all the time. And there's information, and I don't know if you've heard of this new magazine. I know there's the Epic Times that I have, and they've surely brought a number of things to light, and can, and I'm not going to do a comparison on it. But Druthers, they were present at the protest on Saturday, sharing this with everybody, but they do need our support. So whoever can support, now it's, I'll put this down below, but it's druthers.net. And what Druthers means as a noun means informal, one's own way, choice, or preference. For example, if I had my druthers, we all would know the truth. And I love that, because that's what I say. That's why I wrote the book. That's why I come on here. We would know the truth. And the truth is figuring it out together. But at all times, you know, the truth is what the truth is. You got to discern. You got to, you know, it's all of those things. But there was 2 people that were on the call with Sylvain Henry's out of Ottawa. I just want to give you a little bit of update on that as well. So last night was about solutions, and we just, you know, it's like brainstorming, ongoing brainstorming of what we can do. What can we do to bring the people together? What can we do in a peaceful way? And included in there was, yes, prayers and meditation, and I would say all those things that raise your vibration, laughter and joy, that, and imagine what we do want, right? Imagine what we do want. We want to keep our freedom here in Canada, probably more and in a different way than ever, because what I hear is this has been modern day slavery, with the debt slavery, working with the poison companies, you know, doing things you don't want to do, just because you have bills to pay, mouths to feed, and things like that. So slavery, whatever it is, but when we don't have the freedom, and then we have to be aware that, you know, life is going to take energy. It's going to take something that you're passionate about. So is it so that more and more people are losing their passion, their motivation, their inspiration? Because why do we need so many people to do accountability, have accountability coaches? Like, why is that we have to say things that are inspiring and motivating, getting people motivated? Because of the way things have been playing out for however long, decades, centuries, millennia. And that's about, I mean, if I have to think of freedoms, that is the freedoms we're going to get to, where you are motivated to do something that in as such as going to serve others, going to be humanity. You're doing it for others, but you're enjoying yourself while doing it. So there's two people that were on the call on Sylvain's call last night that are actually going to have, they're going to do, they're writing something for Druthers. So that comes out, that'll be the February one, but I'll put the link below. And minimally, just go on, support, like, I think they have the Facebook group as well. And just so it says here, this is why I like this here, important information, please read and pass it on for somebody else to read. And then visit them online. But how many times did we used to pass things along? We do still do that. If you watch a good movie, we pass it along. And passing things along, it doesn't mean, I mean, obviously there's enough is enough, but I think freedoms right now is probably so much more important than thinking about giving them a dime. But that's important too. They need that because the more they can print, things all funded, people funded, the more they can print means the more distribution to more people. But also pass it, read it and pass it on. So I think that's very good. The one thing I wanted to also bring up today is, because it came into my awareness, is the fact of drinking too hot liquid, drinking hot coffee, hot tea, and other hot beverages. Like, I mean, I hear people speaking about, I remember my cousin, so it rings in my head, thinking about, I'm going to have a hot lemon. No, don't have a hot lemon, because you're going to destroy the nutrients in the lemon, with the lemon. Now, it's probably there, and it'll cool down quickly, but the idea is warm or body temperature or slightly warmer than body temperature is fine. Primarily, let me try to communicate this again. I know I've said it months ago. Hi, Teresa. Months ago, is that when I think about all these people drinking coffee, I've never drank coffee, I don't drink coffee, and mostly for what I understand coffee to be. Is a little coffee here and there going to make a difference? Probably not. So unique individuals have a high stimulation with it, but that's the beverage I think about. It's so hot, tea that you buy from these coffee shops. They're so hot. I remember time and time again having meetings in coffee shops, and hopefully we'll get back there again, and having to wait the whole meeting before I could drink my tea. How the whole meeting, it was stayed so hot. But I can't tell you how many times I've burnt my tongue just testing to see if it is okay, just with a little sip. And then the body's got to heal, have to use energy to heal. But so when we drink coffee like that, and it comes, and it's hot, and you swallow it, you might be used to it. Maybe there's a little numbness going on, and I don't know if that's true or not. But when we have hot liquid like that, and it goes down our esophagus, it's very disturbing to the cells and to the mucus. In fact, if you think about anything hot, if you wanted to clear mucus, or let's think of oils on your pan, if the water is really, really hot next to soap, you will be able to work through that. Like, it'll just come off clean. And what we don't want to do is wash off the healthy mucus, the membranes, and clear them completely off. So that's, I'm not going to make any claims here other than when I did my initial research, that would be one of the causes of esophageal cancer, or perhaps it's mouth cancer, I don't know, but it could be one of the causes, having liquids too hot. So I just want to remind everybody, because to me that would be if even just one person here, or if you told people, or you've asked people, that's something else you can pass along. Pass that along, because it's I think it's one of the most amazing little teeny weeny tips that we can share with each other. Absolutely. So what else did I want to test? So I talked about Anastasia. Wonderful book, wonderful book. I'll put the link down below so you can read some of the testimonials, or I think I have a page, I brought some of them in there. The idea here, now, not to go completely on the other side of anything here, of joy and peace and all that stuff that more and more we're just going to bring in through our day, and keep our eyes open and have awareness, obviously, is important. But what I do read is, and we know this has kind of come to into our life here, our world, is the injections. I'm just going to call them injections. That's what people seem to think there are more of these days with the change in the way they look at what they're putting into these injections. And it is clear that people are getting harmed from these injections. I think California is questioning and stopping some things, China as well. And there was two other, Norway was another country, and it seems that there's been a number of deaths. Let's say, death is a part of life with the elderly. So what they're kind of exploring and sharing is maybe the elderly don't need these shots. If they're already in a place with morbidities and such, maybe they don't need them. And I think that's awesome because elderly, what love we can give them, what support we can give them at this time is all we can do. And what better than that, than give them something that's going to stress out their system and possibly being the cause of putting them over the edge. They don't know. I mean, they don't really do the how can I say, I want to say experiments, but no, they don't really do the assessments or the field study or the research on that age. In fact, I hear that most of even the general medicines out there that are toxic for our system, I mean, all you have to do is just listen to the side effects in the commercial or look them up to know that it's not a magic bullet. Even psychiatrists that I've spoken to, they know the drugs are not the end all and be all. They're not as rosy. They know that. They know that. So I think this is where connecting, meditation, peace, however, raise your vibration. Whatever ways you can raise your vibration. And again, I'm just giving you some examples. Doing things for yourself, doing things for others, smiling, saying hello to people, connecting with you. There's so many things. Whatever resonates with you, that's what I would suggest doing. So let's see what else we have in here. This was kind of fun to look up and to read to you. You can see I'm making it a little bit lighter here because now I'm going to read this if it comes up here on my screen. It's kind of like an update. Now for those people who are more of the spiritual side of things, I just want to read this to everybody, okay? To everybody, however you're going to take it. So we are here now. That's where we are, and that's where these, if you've heard of the Palladians before, but let's just put that aside, who it's from. We are here now. And love to me is probably one of the energies, the highest energy, I think. So however you can show love, that's great. So we are here from the future. How interesting is that? And let me just say here, as a collective, your souls have opened for a major shift in your reality. And this is what I wanted to bring up here. Many of you might experience dizziness, spaciness, and feeling tired while feeling exhilarated and joyful at the same time. I'm going to add to that, because this is something I experienced a couple of years ago, is like a humming in the head, in the ears. And some people have asked me about that, and I was kind of tuned into it that way, but they're on these calls with people talking about this, and they have validated that you might be experiencing that. If you're not experiencing it, it's okay. Your entire DNA is being activated, and every cell, atom, and electron in your body is changing profoundly into light accelerators. So I'm just I'm going to kind of interject here because I want to just kind of bring it into this. So understand that if you believe in the evolution theory or evolution at all, see this as an evolution. See this as an opportunity. This is the positive side, where as you vibrate more, and I remember reading this in a book, Malcolm K. Smith talked about energy. And I mean, I never saw this, but he explained circumstances where people who did a lot of good work on this planet, sisters, let's say, or whatever they did, they actually, their body was vibrating and they stored this vibration. So it's like all in the body. And they were able to not decompose at the same level as we understand decomposing because of the vibration they raised. So I just kind of want to make sense of some of this thing here. Um, so your feeling of exhilaration and joy is the indicator that you're completely stepping into new earth reality. And if you've heard me talk about New Earth in that case was the teepee village where you would go and have a load of fun. But New Earth seems to be two words that people have been trying to communicate to people. On a soul level, you are celebrating this important accomplishment, and your heart is allowing for massive amounts of cosmic Christ consciousness. I don't know if all of you know what cosmic Christ consciousness is, but it is something that we have within each of us. Okay, we've heard of consciousness, so just add a couple new words to that, and we don't have to know exactly or understand, but to flow through and expand in your world. So that's all I'm going to read. Just a couple of those things I wanted to bring in, especially the feelings or physical feelings that you may be experiencing but not understanding. I'm going to give you an example that happened to me. Okay, what happened to me? I was at a health show. This was with the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, and we had a table. We had a few of us there, and John Stewart, who does the colloidal silver machines, he'll make them. You can buy them and make your own. Probably the cheapest that way. And he had also a machine there that was hooked up to a crystal, a very nice crystal, and you could hold on to it. As soon as I would hold on to it, my vibration, I could feel my whole body just tingling. Now, not everybody felt that, and that's okay. But after the weekend of doing that, I can't remember how many times I did it. I mean, I always tried to do it when nobody was there, and it wasn't busy and other people were trying it, so I might have done it a handful of times. And at times I was holding it for a couple of minutes. When I came home on the Sunday, and I'm like walking, I felt like I was being, I was kind of dizzy, but just I didn't have my footing. And I spoke to somebody who knows and connects with pets about that, and she said, yes, what happened is you had a shift, but your physical body hadn't actually caught up to it yet. So it took about, I guess, 2 or 3 days before then things kind of settled down. But I just kind of go and reach something, and I feel like I was going to go off balance. But interesting feeling. So just understand and know as you continue to raise your vibration, if you already haven't had these feelings, but if you continue to do that, these are some of the things that might come in, and at least this gives you the comfort that you understand more about what it is. So there's a lot of people that are giving updates. I'm not going to go into them. Simon Parks is one. What is the other? Dr. Charlie Ward as well. And again, they're probably coming on board or continuing all this because it's an amazing time. Amazing time. And you can see kind of both things playing out. The positive and the unfolding of, well, it's all positive really at the end of the day. But definitely the challenges and so forth are coming through. Let me just see if there was anything. I think that was it. I mean, I just want to reiterate that at any rate, most of what's kind of coming through too is a combination of a few things that have been mentioned in the past. But one of the key things is absolutely the economic forum or the Great Reset that we have heard is been well, they're asking for it. I mean, you hear the leaders talking about it. You know, the Great Reset, the New World Order. I mean, they've actually come out of their mouths as to, so do we know exactly what this is? No, if you ever go and you read about them, here's what I'll leave you with. Ask the question, what do they exactly mean by that? Now, it's not going to be there. There's a million questions I have in reading it. They tell you all good and fluffy stuff, you know, nobody will be left behind. Everybody will have technology. But is that the better way? I just finished reading a book called Ishmael. I don't know if any of you have read Ishmael, but what a beautiful book. And I can see, having further explored his commentary on it at the end, and that I can see how many people would have navigated to this and wanted his continued wisdom of knowledge, or even where he got it in the first place. The idea of Ishmael is learning just how, now they go into two groups, and I had to really make sure I had one, to get the takers. So the takers are the takers who think there's a right way, on this planet. And then there's the leavers, like the Inuit. We're working with the natural laws. That's all I'm going to say about the book. But the whole book is about going through various different questions and kind of rolling and diving with different things into different directions, but coming back to what is really happening. What is really happening and what we can do about it. What we can do about it. Now, some people, as they say in the book, and I'll say this before, we need not worship anybody. We need not put anybody on a pedestal at all. And the idea is to think for yourself. And why I use the word common sense is to ask yourself questions with a common sense perspective. What makes sense? What makes sense? And this is where you kind of dig deep into yourself, and you'll find you'll have more of the answers than you really think you do. But you do. You have more of the answers. Now let me just see if there's anything else in the news. I kind of brought that up. I don't want to go into too many details. I'd rather imagine us what we want. That's going to be key. The key is to imagine what you want, do all the things that raise your vibration, from laughter to connecting to anything that makes you feel good. If it means making your favorite dessert a chocolate cake, do that. Seriously. This is no time to go, I'm counting calories. But at the same time, don't do that every day in the sense of that, and eat your veggies and all that kind of stuff. Balance, we have to say, balance. So let me just see if there's anything else. There was something, what? Let me see, time goes. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this is, I'm going to say my turkey story, okay? I think I've said it here before, but my cousins were, I was talking about language and what thoughts we put out there. And then one of the thoughts that some people will say, we haven't seen the worst of it yet, or this is going to be hard. And I think Ford says something to the degree, if you agree or disagree, or if you're right or you're right either way, right? So whatever you think, whatever you believe, you're kind of putting it out there. You're putting it out there. So I kind of mentioned that, and I said, well, remind me to tell you my turkey story. And so this is how it can work, in a sense. Very simple. Farmer, less one turkey. So I ordered a bunch of turkeys for the neighbors, about 7 of them in total. 1 was for me, and only ended up with 6. Probably cousin John showed up at the farm and said, I really need a turkey. Okay, here, have a turkey. What is it? First come, first serve. I could just imagine that playing out. So ordered 7 turkeys, only got 6 turkeys, and I said, well, I'm not going to take a turkey. I want everybody else to have a turkey because, my sister-in-law is having turkeys. So I'm going to have one of these turkeys because 2 of my family on either side of my family were having a turkey of the turkeys I got. So easy peasy. But I like making turkey. It's something, whether it's the smell, the children love the stuffing, I like the cranberries, and then the turkey soup. So it's just something I will do twice a year. So I declared walking through the park that I'm going to go buy a turkey. Simple as that, no doubt. I'm just going to buy a turkey. Did I say it as in, but I better have no doubt when I say it? Nope, just declared I'm going to go buy a turkey. Did I figure out in my head and overanalyze it? When was I going to buy it? Where was I going to buy it? Blah, blah. No, nothing. Just declared the simple thing. I'm walking with the dog through the park, and I just declared I'm going to get a turkey. So a few days later, walk club, we come back. This is December, very cold snow out there. And we come back to where we meet, and I do stretching exercises 15 minutes after the walk. Believe me, we're in the snow and we're doing this, but we're warm. And here in the middle of where we stretch is a frozen turkey from Loblaws across the street in the Loblaw bag, sitting in the middle of the park. It's a busy place. It's, near Bathurst and St. Clair. And it's right there, almost at the corner. And people are going, blah, blah, blah. I'm walking up and they say it's a turkey. And I tell you, I'm going, get out of town. How? You don't know the how, okay? You just don't know the how. And this is an important message. I can't tell you. Forget about the how. Have no doubt. Be of whatever peace, love, higher vibration as you're saying it. There's no expectations. And there you go. Turkey showed up in the park. So here's just a little twist to it. This day I didn't have my dog because every month I like to go into Loblaws when you could sit down and have tea, whatever, with the members. I like to connect with them. And that was the day I was going to do that. So I said to myself, if this turkey is meant for me, it'll still be here. So we put it up on the bench, at least. Okay, let's put it up on the bench. I went into Loblaws. I completely let my mind go blank, forgot about it the moment I walked across the street, had tea. An hour and a half later, I come out. I'm going across the street, St. Clair. It pops into my head, turkey on the bench. I look over, the turkey's still there. I go calmly, but you can see I'm going, oh, really, this is how it works. Picked up the turkey, took it home, and cooked it. And now the dog had turkey for a week, and so did we. But the idea is that's how simply. So what I'd asked to have to show me, which I realized after I had 3 examples of manifest, I'm not going to go into the other 2 just for time, is how does manifesting work? How does the law of attraction work? And that's, the truth of it is just that. But now, I have done an hour talks on it with a couple of groups. And here's what I'll end with. Manifesting. I want to learn how to manifest. So I'll ask some questions and I want to learn. Yeah, I want to learn how to manifest. You want to learn? You ever want to learn how to manifest? And here's my pat answer. You are manifesting. You are manifesting. So you never stop manifesting. Do you like what you have? Do you like where you are? Do you like what you feel? If that's not, then then let's talk further. But the idea is we're always manifesting. Do we need everything? Do I need 10 cars? Do I need No, there is going to be, how can I say it? I'll just say a check and balance, but do I really know how it works? No, I'm still exploring and learning, just like all of us are learning and exploring about life. So yeah, that's kind of what I want to comment on that. And because I did write it down, I might as well talk about it. So let's get into some jokes here, and I'm going to leave this one to the last because I like this one last. I've got 4 of them here. And so we're going to go through these, and then I'll post them up. This is fun to do, and here we go. What did Daddy Spider say to Baby Spider? What did Daddy Spider say to Baby Spider? You spend too much time on the web. There you go. Somebody's probably waiting centuries to say that one. All right, next one. What do you get if you cross the Godfather with a lawyer? What do you get if you cross the Godfather with a lawyer? An offer you can't understand. Those for those people who know who the Godfather is, or the movie The Godfather. Okay, which is faster, hot or cold? Which is faster, hot or cold? Hot, because you can catch a cold. Aha. What did the digital clock say to the grandfather clock? What did the digital clock say to the grandfather clock? I love this one. I love this one. Look, Grandpa, no hands. Anyway, sorry. Was only gonna have 3, but then when I seen that one, I went, oh no, I gotta say that one. Wow, that's what happens when you get into technology. You have technology, and now you got web jokes and digital jokes and computer jokes and all that fun stuff. So I'm gonna wish everybody a wonderful evening. Thanks for your comments, Teresa. Any comments, anything you want to share, please feel free to share them below. I'll actually, a few videos that I've been watching, I'll post them below too as well. And whatever else I said I'm going to post, I'll post below as well. And there you go. Any of the Live at 5s, I try to post key videos there as much as possible, especially the ones I've talked about. But maybe we don't get as censored as much on that. But it's probably because I don't have thousands of viewers, which is okay, right? Is okay. 100, 200, that's fine. That works for me. Anyway, there you go. So take care, everyone. I'm just going to wish everyone a wonderful evening. And yeah, keep up the spirits, not the alcohol spirits. Spirits, our spirits. Connect, all that kind of good stuff. Find the peace, find the calm, be kind, and be kind to yourself as well. So take care. Until next Live at 5. Yeah, enjoy some laughs. Bye for now.